Alright, hi, my name is Elizabeth Penrod, and this is my 5-year plan. Okay, so just a quick little overview of all my goals. First thing I want to do is shadow, intern, and work. I want to see all that there is out there available to me, and I don't want to make sure I don't have any missed opportunities. I want to find what's best for me, what I'm going to enjoy the most, and I think that this is the best way to do it. I'm going to get my bachelor's degree in health and PE. I am super excited about this. It's definitely something I want to do at some point. And then I want to work in between getting my bachelor's and my master's. I want to work probably as a personal trainer and a certified lactation consultant or as a PE teacher. And then I've also got my master's on here where I want to get a master's degree in counseling, and then eventually I want to be a counselor and personal trainer combined, and we'll get more into that later. Alright, so my key requirements are to get my degree, get some work and get a certification in the middle, and then obviously go to grad school. Alright, so the first step is to get my degree, and then I have and prepare on here. I want to graduate early. I'm graduating in 3 years instead of 4. This is something I just decided I wanted to do, and I came very determined about it. I want to work relevant. By this I mean, like, especially starting this year, I'm going to try to get a job in some kind of environment where there's a lot of physical activity going on. I would like to get a job in a workout studio and start shadowing the people who work there, seeing kind of how they do things, get some experience maybe in that field, because personal training is eventually something I do want to do. And then I want to shadow. I have thought about doing lactation consultant, and so I need to shadow one of those because I don't even know if that's really something I want to do. I've done a lot of research on it. I've watched day in the lives on TikTok, but I think getting your hands dirty and really going in and just seeing what it's exactly like is the best way to know if you'll like it or not. And this is the way I've ruled out a lot of other careers and decided that I would love other careers. And then also I want to get a head start. So checking and make sure that if there's anything I can do, like go ahead and do for certifications or anything like that, that I go ahead and do that now. So then later I'm ready and I can just go ahead and get it. All right, for work, this is the work that I was talking about in between bachelor's and master's. The two big options I have right now are to go ahead and just be a PE teacher. This requires my degree. I need to take the praxis exam. That's how you become, like, you're able to teach. And then I need to get a teacher certificate in the state of Kentucky or whatever state I decide to work in if that changes. And then to get IBCLC certified, this is the lactation consultant certification. You can see there's a lot of requirements under there. I need to take the health and science courses, get lactation education, communication hours, and then clinicals, and then pass the exam. Now this is something I kind of thought about doing in between before I did more research. And so we'll see, this might not be as ideal as I thought it was, but these are just a couple options I have right now. And then I also have and get certified. I want to become a personal trainer. I want to get that certification. So this is another thing I'm definitely going to do. I need to get an updated CPR and AED certification. I actually did that this summer, but I'll probably have to do it again before the time comes. And then choose a certification program, pass the exam, and then gain experience, which is something that I am trying to work on right now. And then grad school, I have not looked much into what I personally want into a grad school yet because I haven't really fully decided what I want to do in grad school. Obviously for this, I'm choosing counseling, and this is something I have a really big passion for, but PT has also had kind of some of my interests lately, and so specifically looking at choosing a school has not been realistic for me yet, but I will need to choose a school, apply, get accepted, and hopefully do great. Alright, so now we're on to the ideal process, or my timeline. So starting in 2025, that is right now, like I said, I want to shadow. I want to try everything. And I also want to try to make decisions. I think shadowing and trying everything will help me make decisions because I will be able to rule things out and see what I love. And then I also need to work, and I'm working on my undergrad, obviously. In 2026, I plan to start my grad school application, hopefully in July, and then apply to grad school. I think most of those deadlines are going to be in December to February, so have it done by then. And then I want to work relevant, which is something I'm trying to start now, but definitely I'm going to crack down on then, and to get that experience and everything. And then obviously shadow. continue to be in those real life situations and see what I'm gonna like and what I'm not gonna like. In 2027, I will graduate with my bachelor's degree in health and physical education, which I'm super excited about, and that will be in May. And then I also want to go ahead and try to get my personal trainer certificate and some experience in that in 2027. Hopefully, I will already have some experience by then throughout my working relevant and shadowing and all of that, but getting some more hands-on experience, I guess, after I get my certification will be really good. And then I want to start working towards my master's degree. All right, and then in 2028, I'm going to continue working, continue getting my master's, and then start looking for where I want to permanently live and work. And then this is going to be a big deal because whenever I'm going to have that personal trainer certificate, so I might need to get an updated version in a different state, or my counseling degree if I need to get a specific certificate in a specific state so I can be licensed. Just different things like that I'm going to need to look at based on where I'm living. And I do think that I want to move to a different state, so that'll be really crucial because there'll be big differences. And then 2029, I will graduate with my master's degree, and then my final goal is to work as a counselor and personal trainer. This has been a huge goal for me because I think these two things can benefit each other so much, and it's such like a all kinds of wellness type of job, and you just help someone, I think, so much. And I also think it's something I'm very passionate about and something I would do if I wasn't going to do it, I would go and do this. And so I think it's important to work in a field that you're passionate in, and this is something I really love. All right, always learning. My takeaways from doing this project and this course. I've learned some of my true desires. I've learned that I love the mental health side of things. I've learned that I also kind of have a soft spot for nutrition. I knew I loved the physical activity side of things and stuff like that, but learning these other details that are connected and that I also have a passion for that I didn't really see the connections for before. I've also learned the truth. Like I said, talking about the lactation consultant thing, originally when going into this class, I thought it was a much easier process than it is. And so this might not be something I want to do because I was looking at it as a little thing I could do and then make a lot of money before I get into the job that I really want to do. Because starting out as a teacher, as you know, you don't make as much money. But yeah, so seeing how things are really going to work so that way I can go ahead and figure it out now and not be surprised once I get into it later. Another big thing I learned was the amount of options I have in this field. You think exercise physiology or health and physical education, it stops at running and exercising, but there's just so much more to it, and I think adding all those other things is what makes me love where I'm at this much more, which I'm super excited about. And then I've also learned how to maximize, and by this I mean on my time. So how I said I want to work relevant and do all the shadowing and try everything. That would not have been something I thought of if it weren't for this class and this project, because looking forward that intensely and seeing all the little details that come into play later that I can be working on right now just wasn't in my mind. It wasn't a thought I had. And so these are all some really important things that I learned in this class, and I'm really going to take advantage of. All right, thank you so much, and this is my 5-year plan. I hope you enjoyed.